रोकूंगी उसे।
कीचड़ जो उछाला मेरे वतन के लिबास पे वो होगा फिर रवाना बेटे सीधा कफन बांध के। अब तो बेहतर ही रहेगा कि तू दूरी रख वरना होगा बेटे तेरा काम ही तमाम है।
तो बाड़ी खत्म हाँ?
मेरे लिए तो शुरू हुई।
सुन लो बात, हिंदुस्तान जिंदाबाद।
Oh my goodness. So today I am joined by someone very, very special, someone who is actually very close to me and I'm sure to a lot of viewers watching today. Jennifer Winget, a warm welcome to you on Filme Shilmy.
Thank you so much for having me here. I know you and I have been connecting and trying to make this happen for a very long time. And finally that it has. I am very excited to have this chat with you. Looking forward to this fantastic conversation.
Absolutely. The pleasure is all ours, Jenny. In fact, a huge congratulations on Codem, on Voot, coming back for season 2. Now, there seems to be a lot more action involved. It seems to be a lot more intense in comparison to the first season.
Yes.
So tell me, how emotionally and physically prepared were you to play Major Monica Mehra this time round?
You know, it's so funny when I started season 1 and, because, I'd never played a character like this before and, it was all action and everything. And, a lot of hours of rigorous training went into it. And as soon as we announced Codem 2 and we were about to shoot, I'm like, come on, I'm ready, bring it on. I'm going to be like, work hard, da, 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 da. And I got COVID.
Oh my God.
So just say we were shooting, say tomorrow, and the previous night I come to know that I have COVID. I'm like, I was so heartbroken because I was really looking, because there was so much hard work that was put into prepping for the role, right? And then this happened, and then I got. But now when I look back at it, in hindsight, I think I got those 14 days extra to get better, to get fitter. And although I couldn't leave my house, I was literally like, working out 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the evening, and trying to have Zoom calls with our action master, our director, whatever I could. So season 1, the training was difficult because it was new to me. Season 2 was slightly easier because I kind of knew the basics, right? So I could just get into it a little more with ease than season 1.
Right. I think it's very rare, in Indian television or film where we get to see any female army personnel of sorts. I mean, of course, with the exceptions of titles like Parmanu, Gunjan Saxena, or even shows like Sara Akash too as well. So I guess in that way, why do you think there was a bit of a scarcity in terms of such content? And with Code M emerging, do you feel like it's paved way now for more such content to emerge on the platform? Because we've had so many shows like that emerge as well.
No, I most definitely believe that, because there is still a dearth of women-oriented shows on OTT. We still need a lot of shows like that. And for me to be given this opportunity to play army officer's character, when I was offered the role, I mean, I didn't even think. I'm like, yes, done, I'm doing it, finished. I don't even want to listen to the story. I just want to do it because not a lot of opportunities like that are given to women, and I consider myself very lucky. Also because during season 1, I was transitioning from TV to OTT, right? So there was that transition. Then there was this added responsibility of playing a character from the armed forces. So for me, it was a double challenge, and I loved every bit of it. And I just wish that there are more series and more characters that are women centric, that are women focused on the OTT platform, because we need those. I need those.
Yeah, definitely. No, for sure. And I think also, Jennifer, it's, when you are playing such roles, I mean, it is obviously quite a matter of pride, I'm sure, because you're
100%.
portraying someone who's at the forefront of defending your country. So I guess what responsibilities do you feel when you are playing someone like Monica
Immense.
Mehra?
Immense, because the minute you put on that uniform, right, there is something just in your heart, in your mind, something just shifts. There is, if you see a person who's in the armed forces or the navy or whatever, the way they conduct themselves, the way they speak, the way they sit, the way they talk, the way everything about them is very, very different, and that's a very big responsibility to take on as an actor. And thanks to my team who was with me, guiding me through every step, from my director to my action master, there was always a person from the army on the set to make sure that nothing is out of place or nothing is pronounced pronounced wrong, or whatever. So we were very, very conscious of the fact, and big shout out to Samar Khan, our producer, because he also comes from an army background, so he knows. We have that, we have his guidance with us, where we know that he's watching, and if something is not in place, we'll be corrected. So there was a lot of team effort that went into creating Major Monica, and to get the nuances right, and I had a ball doing it.
I can imagine, and from the experiences that you're sharing, it definitely did seem like that, actually. But one thing that I must say, and one thing that I've admired about you, is that I find all your roles very powerful. And I think what I've also realized is that there is a social undertone within them too. For instance, in Saraswati Chandra, to an extent, it highlights alcoholism, domestic violence, and such topics.
Yeah. For a bit.
Childhood trauma. Behad obviously highlights mental health issues. Bepana shows infidelity, and Kodem is about national security. So how do you handle such topics? Like, how emotionally?
It was never a conscious decision to pick these kind of roles. But one thing I know for sure is that whatever character I have chosen, or whatever character I will choose to play in the future, I need to feel a sense of empowerment. You know what I mean? When I play, even if the character has 2 scenes, 5 scenes, it doesn't matter the number of scenes, but it has to be relevant with what I believe in, and what also, as an actor, how will I learn from it? If I keep playing similar kind of characters, there is nothing for me to offer that I've not offered to one character already. So I also look for opportunities where I get to play these different characters, from which I can learn, become a better actor. And thankfully, by the grace of God, all the characters that I have played on TV or on OTT have been appreciated, and that encourages me to think that what I'm doing is working so far, so let's not push it.
Absolutely. And the fact that, you've obviously been a child actor in a lot of, again, very strong films. Like, even if we think about Kuch Na Kaho, it talks about single parenthood, films like that, which, again, at a young age, they were very strong, powerful stories. So again, do you think that subconsciously that's kind of played a huge role in actively
Honestly, I'll be very honest with you. That time when I started working as a child actor, there was never any thought given to it. I was just very happy to be in a movie with Aishwarya and Abhishek Bachchan. I'm like, I'm doing it. Okay, I don't care about it. And I was all of 14, right? So for me, it was just something, because I was, I'm a Bombay girl, to be with, at that time, to be with like these stars and all, was a brilliant opportunity for me. And that's it. I think it was for a long period of my acting career, I was just kind of going from job to job,
Right.
and it was during Behad is when I realized, when I fell in love with the craft of acting. It was then when I realized that, oh my God, this is what an awesome job I have. This is beautiful. And I really, really learned so much on that show. And in spite of playing a character which was not your goody two shoes, not your typical Indian TV character, and the character got so much love, and that pushed me to fall in love with acting more and more each day.
Yeah, that is very true, actually. And I love that as well. I think that's what's amazing. And I'm sure Behad, must have really pushed you to the dark side of humanity and the dark side of the spectrum. Did it not?
No, it did.
Jennifer,
I
how are
was
you so invincible?
no, I'll tell you what, as an actor, right, whatever scene you do, whether you kill a person or you do a good deed, I can't think of anything, okay? If as an actor, you, no matter what kind of scene you do, when you know you've done it well, there is this instant high that you get. And I crave for that high, that's all that matters. Just because I'm playing a murderer doesn't mean I'm a murderer in real life.
Of course. Oh God, no.
You know what I mean?
I'll be really scared. I'm
All
just like, what if Jennifer gets caught one day and like the police see all our WhatsApp chats?
No, but that's true. A lot of people, when I was shooting for Bill, a lot of people would be very scared to approach me or even say hi to me, thinking, "Pata nahi hai, what will she, how will she react?" But it's not. I mean, of course, look, if you've had an intense day at work, you take a little bit of that when you go back home. But then that's an actor's job. When you go back to work the next day, it's all out of the window, and you start afresh and give it your all, that whatever you can.
That is so wonderful to hear. So who would you say is your role model, I think, in terms of acting?
I mean, I don't have a role model as such, but I look up to a lot of people for a lot of, various things. Like, I mean, there is no comparison when it comes to Mr. Bachchan, right? He's just, he's God. There is nobody in his league. So obviously I look up to him for his discipline, for his command over his craft, his language. It's just, there's no comparison. And I mean, what has happened in the last 2 years, especially during this pandemic, is we got access to a lot of global cinema and a lot of global content. So I watch a lot of shows that inspire me as an actor and even as for content. So I watch a lot of shows and I pick up things from this thing from here, and so a lot of shows I watch and a lot of actors. I can't name one now.
Oh, okay, that was fairly. I understand as well. It is such a a melting pot of so many
Exactly.
So I can totally understand exactly what you mean.
Also, the audience has evolved from when I started working to now, right? And especially in the last 2 years, it has been a very rapid evolution, where because there is access to so much content, audiences are also okay with experimenting, and filmmakers and content makers to experiment with content. So there are more opportunities now.
Definitely. And I'm really glad you've mentioned this whole breaking barriers part, because this is actually a very crucial question I wanted to ask you, because, I think it's great, that we're seeing, I guess OTT evolve, and it's kind of become the huge icebreaker for talents and content across the globe, and including India, of course. But I think it's very interesting as well, because nowadays I think fellow contemporaries like Hina Khan, for example, recently, who's another actor who I'm very fond of, addressed issues like elitism and classism within the Indian film and TV industry as well.
Yeah.
So how have you ever faced like any sort of classism or elitism? How have you dealt with that, if you've ever faced it?
I mean, I have faced it in a way that honestly I don't take it to heart so much, because look, whoever you are in life, wherever you are in life, there will be people not believing in you. Not everybody will like you, and I respect that opinion. As long as you respect me, I'm okay with you not taking me for a project because you think I'm from TV. That's on you. That's not on me, because I know, come from TV, film, OTT, whatever. For me, I love acting, right? If you give me a good project, if you give me the platform, for me is not that important, because I know that I'm going to put my heart and soul into whatever project that I want to do. So, I mean, yes, I have faced, but I don't take it to heart, and it's not a, it's not a, it doesn't do anything to my love of the crowd. So it doesn't bother me.
I mean, that's great. But I think it also is a systematic issue, isn't it, Jennifer? Like, I mean, what do you perhaps think could be better or improved in order for like maybe gatekeepers of content to make sure that it's more of a level playing field now for actors across?
It is now, isn't it? It is now. I mean, if you compare it to like 5 years ago, where when there was 5-6 years ago, when OTT was not as relevant as it is now, film actors would not even look at TV actors, not even consider them. But now things are changing. I mean, the line is slowly fading. It's still there. I'm not saying it's not there. It's still very much there, but it is kind of fading. And I hope that very soon there is no line at all where an actor is an actor, come from TV or wherever. If you see what is the director's job or what is the writer's job, is to mold your actor. If you get a good actor, that is, mold that actor in that, for that character. And that's what we also want. We want you put us, and that's the thing about TV actors. Our foundation has been so, we become resilient, you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
in TV it's all about delivering. It's all, you have a time crunch always when you're working for TV, so you have to deliver. And I think that has been my foundation as well, because now you put me in any situation or any circumstance, I know that I can adapt myself and I can mold myself to become that character. And I think that is what an actor's best quality is to become a character when the situation is not all given to you. It's that I don't know how to explain it to you.
It's that
The
spontaneous. Yeah, you have to be prepared for anything and everything, like how life is, right? Because
exactly,
it's a screenshot of life, isn't it?
that's a high, that's a thrill for me, and I really enjoy that.
Yeah, that is so well explained. I think that's what really comes across through your work. I mean, my earliest memory of you was actually as, I think, Sneha on Kasauti Zindagi.
Yeah,
And again,
yeah.
again, it was, you were playing Prerna and Mr. Bajaj's daughter in that. But again,
That's
a
right.
very strong character who stands up
Yeah.
against sexual assault. And I think that was amazing to see. And I think,
I love how you remember everything. Oh my God, it's been so long. I have forgotten.
I mean, I've been a fan for a while, Jennifer. Let's just put it that way.
Thank
No.
you.
But I think this is what one thing that I love as well about, I think what everyone kind of respects about you is the fact that you're very unproblematic, and dignified. I just love the fact that, you just get on with your work. There's no halla gulla with anything you do. You just get on straight with your work.
There's so much drama that I do on screen. I have no strength left for any drama off screen, like seriously. And it's, I live by a very simple philosophy, Anuj. काम करो, अच्छा काम करो और घर जाओ. बस मेरे को I don't, everything else comes and goes, especially in this industry where I won't call it frivolous, but in this industry, opinions and judgments keep changing, in a day, in a month, in a year, it just keeps changing. So as long as you are honest to your work, and that is what gets you work, and that is what gets you respect, no matter which industry you're from, just be honest to yourself and the work that you're doing, and everything else falls into place.
Yeah. And do you think it's that, again, because you mentioned resilient, of how actors who begin their careers from television, they become resilient, right? So do you think
Yeah.
it's that resilient that's kept you mentally strong throughout this whole process then of
I
life?
guess so. I mean, amongst other things, it has also been, I've also been very fortunate, in spite of being in TV, to be offered, like you said, you brought up all my roles. In spite of being on TV, I got an opportunity to play a lot of different kinds of characters, where in TV at that time, there weren't many opportunities. So I consider myself very lucky, and that kind of pushed me, and has always, even now it's the case, where I could have done a lot of work if I wanted to, but I'm very picky and choosy with what projects I do, because I don't want to be just a star. We have a lot of stars here. I mean, we have this big sky and a lot of twinkling stars, and I'm happy to be one of them, but I also want to be remembered as a good person and a good actor, because that is what I'm selling to you. That is my job, is for you to believe what I'm selling you, and that is emotion. That is why I love my job so much, because I you see a little bit of me in every character that I have played, and that makes, I don't know, it's kind of therapeutic. Acting is therapeutic for me.
Right. Yeah, I've heard that actually. And that's great. And that's really great that you don't take it as a stress point. I mean, even for example, working with a I mean, Mr. Bansali, for example. I mean, a lot of actors have said that he's quite a tough taskmaster to work with. But what was he like for you, I think? And what was the sort of fundamental perhaps skills you took away from Saraswati Chandra? Because again, that was quite a huge turning point in your career as well, wasn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think, his eye for detail, man. I mean, it just, I was like, what? So I remember this one incident when we were shooting for the promo of Saraswati Chandra, where Mr. Bhansali was in the promo. And when we had done a few look tests before that, I had this braid, right? And he loved the look and this and that, and he was sitting on the set, and I went in to say hello to him, and I was wearing a different wig, so the braid it was like a few inches shorter than what he had seen during the look test. Like, you wouldn't even notice, I did. And I went to meet him, and we started having this conversation, and he's like, is there something not right with your hair? Like, no, everything is like how it was in the look test. It's like, no, there's something off. And then just because the length of the braid was not what he had seen in the look test, he noticed that, and it was night.
Oh my God.
Like, oh my God, yeah, exactly. Oh my God, it was. So I mean, you get to learn so much from working with people like Mr. Bhansali, or even in season 1, of Kodam, Rajat Kapoor, and season 2, Swanand Kidkare, just learning and just kind of listening to their stories and just grasping that is amazing.
Oh wow, that's very candid, and that's very interesting to hear that about eye of detail. I think that's
Can
very,
you believe
very
it?
it's crazy. It's crazy. But I think again, what I was also going to say is, again, you really are, and I think I was watching another interview that you did, and I think you have I think something along those lines. I mean, don't want to quote you exactly on what you said, but I think it was about you're really attached with the word grace, of handling life
Oh.
with grace. And I think that's something which you're definitely a master at. I mean, no matter what it is, because I know for actors, because their lives are so public, whether it's your personal life being, constantly reported in the media, the gossip stories being circulated, or, maybe you handling setbacks, whether it's personal or professional, you've always seemed to handle it with grace. Where does that grace come from?
I learned it on the job, Anuj. Because I'm not even kidding. I swear, it was just, when I was doing Saraswati Chandra, is after, I think I was just kind of finishing Saraswati Chandra, and I was going through my separation, and that was a tough time for me personally and professionally. But that's where I learned this. It's in your toughest situation or your toughest time, you dwell, you dig deep, and there is this process of self-discovery that happens. And at that point, when you are in that situation, you're like, oh my God, why me? Like, why? But when you look back at it, in hindsight, it's the best phase. It makes you who you are. It has definitely made me who I am today. And I learned grace, I learned confidence from an unpleasant situation. And it's not over yet. Ups and downs are a part and parcel of life. It's I don't know. It's just sometimes I get these epiphanies, when grace comes to me and faith comes to me. And I really hold on to these words, because I feel that these are just messages from God to tell me, that hang in there, child. We're getting there.
I'm really glad you mentioned this, because I don't know if this happens with you sometimes, but sometimes, I might be having a conversation with my dad, or, I'll be talking about something, and then suddenly TV mein ya kuch or exterior factors mein mujhe ek ishara mil jayega that same conversation will come up. I don't know if you've had this before.
Of course, 100%. These are signs from, God. These are signs from our angels to just look at the bigger picture. because sometimes we lose sight of that. We get so caught up in our everyday drama, or issues or whatever. We lose sight of the bigger picture sometimes. And there are times when you can't. There are times when you're like, I'm done with this shit. Okay, done. I can't. But then that's when faith comes into the picture, and you say, no, man, I have come from here to here to here. There is nothing that I can't do anymore. So have faith and live with grace. Add another word now, faith. Along with
Yeah,
grace.
no, the two most important things. I think spirituality and faith is so important, because when everything around you fails, you kind of realize that actually upar wala hamare saath hai, you.
Absolutely. I mean, he's always there with us. We just sometimes don't see him. So these are his reminders. When things go down a little bit, that's when you're like, oh God, oh God, oh God.
Yeah. It's like that scene from Kal Ho Na Ho, actually, when Preeti and everyone's praying, and then suddenly we see that light open,
Yeah.
and Shah Rukh Khan comes out.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for Shah Rukh Khan to come in my life soon.
So am I.
No, but that's wonderful. But look, Jennifer, on a final note, it keeps getting better and better for you. And I think, after, from milestones to milestone, touch wood, it's going great. But I think post Code M, what ambitions I think do you have now as an actor going forward, perhaps in life and maybe in terms of your career as well?
I think just to be able to play characters that are remembered, just to be able to play characters that are different from the ones that I have played already, to be able to learn as an actor, to be able to be in the company of people who I can learn with. They don't have to be big stars or big banners or whatever. That's I mean, obviously that is there, that's great, I'm not complaining. But just to be around people who are kind of on the same wavelength as me in creating new and different content, that is what I want to do. If I had to do a similar kind of role, I would have done, like I said, a lot of work by now, but that's not my ambition. That's not my focus. My focus is to play different characters, experiment with different roles, and just keep acting all my life because I love it.
That is so lovely. And I think that's that dedication, which again is something which keeps us excited to see you, actually, because we know you're going to put your full heart and soul into that.
So, Anuj, that's a big reason why I look for different projects also, because there's a lot of expectations, and rightly so. I love that my fans have of me, my well-wishers have of me, is to give them something new. If I keep doing the same kind of roles or similar kind of roles, I'll get bored of it. They'll get bored of seeing me, and that's what I don't want. I want to be able to give them and give myself an opportunity to every character to bring something new. And yeah,
that is so wonderful. But on a side note, actually, is there any other projects that we can look forward to? I think post Code M from you.
Not right now. I will. I'm right now currently just focused on Code M, and another project when it and if it happens, you shall know about it.
Oh God!
But as of now, nothing.
That's such a formal interview thing to say. You will know about it.
It is, but it is true, because I don't want to tell you, oh, I've signed this and I'm looking and I'm reading 5 scripts and 10 scripts. No, whatever is coming to me is bullshit. I'm just waiting for something nice to come my way.
Brilliant.
Is that informal enough for you?
Oh, I love it. That's it. I love that spirit. That's exactly what I love about you, Jennifer. Is that informality. I mean, मेरे साथ तो definitely आप informal with me. That's completely fine. But no, look, I think it's definitely been worthwhile. I think this chat, Jennifer, because I think since I've seen you on screen, I've just always had this instinct about you, and every time I've watched you on screen, you've definitely always, like I said, changed the game for yourself. And I think that is such an empowering thing to do.
Really is. Yeah.
You've really carved your own identity, and I am all for that. I love trailblazers. I love people who are who are just so real, and I think that's what I sort of synonymize you with, is that
That's
you're real.
very, very kind of you. Thank you so much, Anuj. And that will be my quest as well. Till the last, till I'm like, I can't act anymore. I want to be able to give my heart and soul into whatever I do, because nothing makes me happier than just be acting.
No, definitely. But look, wishing you all the very best for
Thank you.
Condemned
Thank
season
you.
2. It's going to be a wonderful series to watch. I can't wait to watch it. I mean, I love the cast. I mean, Tanuj, I've been following Tanuj's work again, and he
Yeah.
is marvelous. I absolutely
Yeah.
adore him. He's fabulous. Even in Inside Edge, he was fabulous. So,
Yeah, it was amazing. It was so good in that show. So good.
and he's very handsome too, might I add.
Yes, and he's just such a fun person to be around. I love working with him.
Absolutely. Can't wait to watch it. Can't wait to watch the series. Wishing you all the very best, Jennifer. Thank you
Thank
so
you
much for
so
joining me on
much.
today's
It was such a nice, lovely, happy conversation. I love it. We should do this more often.
Yes, please. You know, मैं तो तैयार हूँ. आप बता देना आप कब तैयार हो. मैं Zoom लगा के आ जाऊंगा. आपको बस बताना है कि कब और कैसे.
करेंगे, करेंगे, बिल्कुल करेंगे.
Wonderful. All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Abhi. Thank you.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.